Dear 343 Industries, you need to get your shit together. Um, don't get me wrong, I am loving Halo Infinite, but a non-functional theater mode is unacceptable in my opinion. It doesn't seem that difficult to get right when you've had functioning theater modes for years. That has been a feature of the game since 2007 when Halo 3 came out, and that theater system worked better and 1,000 times more consistently than this theater system, which has come out 14 years later. What are you doing, 343? Why on earth is the theater mode broken? It's been broken for a while. It used to be that random recordings would just cease to exist. You could go look at them, and some of your matches would just not be recorded, I guess. Or something would go wrong with the recording, and so you could only watch some matches and not other matches. Okay, fine, whatever. That seems to have been fixed. Along the way, it seemed like that stopped happening, because eventually I kept looking back at my theater options, and I could rewatch all of my matches, and I could bookmark the matches, and even after they left my recent matches list, I could still watch my old matches if I had them bookmarked. Now, one time I opened it up and there was an issue with something loading, and it did not pop up any of the films. That said that none of the film files existed, and I just restarted the game and they were there. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Now, I've restarted the computer and I've restarted my game 3 times and they're still gone. What are you doing, 343? I just lost all of my bookmarked footage. I just lost everything. All of these really cool matches that I had, some of which were ones that I'm going to remember for a long time that I was playing with my brother and my dad, and others of which I was going to use for a video that I was going to make instead of this one today to show some highlights of me playing the game, because I had some really cool moments that I had captured, and some of them I forgot to record or I wasn't able to record through OBS at the time, so I went back and bookmarked the matches so that I could come back later and record the bookmark and post that on YouTube. And lo and behold, all of the files are gone. 343, please get your shit together. Because that is really just not acceptable. I'm sorry, it's just not. A non-functioning theater mode is just not acceptable. It's, again, you launched Halo 3. Well, you didn't. Bungie did, and I guess they're just way better at making these games than you are, and that's just a fact, I guess. You guys are trying, and I respect that, but I don't get it. I just don't. Bungie released Halo 3 with a fully functioning, very, very consistently functioning. I'm sure it had bugs, I'm sure it had issues, but 99.9% of the time, you could go back and watch your films without any issues happening in Halo 3. And that was on day one, launch day. This game is coming out 14 years later. There's clearly a gap in technology there where things should have gotten better, more consistent, and higher quality with more features, and still stayed functional. But the features really don't seem any different. And that's fine. I don't really care. I mean, the theater's really good the way it is. It doesn't have to be changed or improved upon that much. I really don't think it does. But why is it regressing? Why are you failing to create a functioning theater mode that has the same amount of features? What is going on? That should be a priority. I'm ranting a bit here because I'm frustrated because this has completely thrown out one of the video ideas I had for this next week, which was making Halo Infinite highlight videos, and I was really excited to make them because I actually had some really cool stuff to show off, and all of that footage is just gone now. Not all of it, because again, that's the stuff that I didn't remember to record on the spot. I still have files on my computer that aren't going anywhere because my computer is better than Halo Infinite. Um, Regardless of that, though, of course, two of the best moments that I've had yet in Halo Infinite happened when I forgot to record, or didn't even forget, but didn't think to record the matches, and so, yeah, I really want those recordings, and I bookmarked the matches for a reason. And lo and behold, the files are just gone. And I know that it's just a bug, right? I know that there are bugs, and I've been pretty patient with this because, again, I mentioned I've already lost recordings. I lost some pretty cool recordings already due to the previous theater bugs that they seem to have fixed. But this is just a whole nother level. Why did all of my bookmarked films just get, like, corrupted? Why are all the files just not usable anymore? What are they doing? I just can't understand why they wouldn't have a functioning theater mode when, again, 14 years ago, one came out that had the same amount of features and worked a million times better. It worked so consistently. There were very few issues with it. You could go back and watch your matches, you could share it with other people. It was awesome and incredible. Why is this one so dysfunctional? There's a lot of other controversy around Halo Infinite. I will say there's a lot of things that this game is not doing great right out the gate. That being said, there's also a lot of things that this game is doing really well, and it's very, very fun. And I'm gonna keep playing the hell out of it because I do love this game. But I just really, really wish that you guys had your shit together, 343. I really, really wish that you could just launch a game and it work. It's a game. It's finished. It's a complete product. You don't need updates after the fact to make the game work. Sure, add more content. I love that. But why isn't the game working? Why are people not even able to play custom games? Why is the theater completely dysfunctional? I don't understand. I don't understand. I get it. Game development isn't easy. But, in the words of the Act Man, Bungie made Halo Reach in a cave with a box of scraps. You have no excuse. Actually, we don't even have to talk about the development cycle of almost every single one of Bungie's Halo games was awful. Halo 2, they had to start from scratch 8 months before, if I'm not mistaken, the time frame was 9 or 8 months, I don't remember which. But so let's make it generous. Let's even say a year. I know it's less than that, but I'll be generous and say it was a year because I don't remember the facts right now. Halo 2 had to restart its development a year from the release date, and they didn't push the release date back like you guys did for a full year. And that wasn't from you guys starting from scratch. And guess what? Halo 2 still released on time. It still released being completely functional, and it released more or less feeling like a complete game, besides the fact that the campaign was cut in half. Yeah, there were sacrifices made there, but the game was functional. The game was 100% functional, and it was fun as hell, too. And I'm not saying that Halo Infinite isn't, but it's not functional. And, not only that, you guys have been developing this game for 6+ years. I believe this game at least began pre-planning phases probably at least a year before Halo 5 even released. I mean, if you guys are staying ahead of the curve and planning out your next games, this game has probably been in development, to some extent, for 8+ years. I'm guessing there, but that's just what the time frame says to me. That this game has been in the works from idea to creation for 8 or more years. And it's been 6 years since the last Halo game released, the last mainline Halo game. And you're telling me the theater mode doesn't work. You're telling me that the custom games don't work. And you're telling me that you can't choose a playlist to play the matches that you want to play. You have to play randomized matches every time you load into the game. And now that part is purely just to encourage people to try and buy their way through the battle pass. That's pure monetary reasons. And I get that. I do. But also, don't do that. Like, incentivize monetary purchases, yes. But don't make the game turn into a game of randomness. Don't force us into loot box matches where you don't get to choose the match that you play, and what match you play literally is chosen by random chance, and whether or not you're going to get to complete the challenge that you have for the week. I mean, honestly, people say that the Battle Pass progression is too slow. I do agree, it's too slow, but I honestly wouldn't even care if I could choose the matches that I could play, because then I could at least just choose the match that I need to play to knock out the most challenges, and the challenges would go by so much faster. But instead I have to play random matches for 2+ hours before I get the one match I'm looking for to complete a challenge. It's I understand that that is there for that reason. It slows down the progression system of the game so that people want to buy their way through the battle pass instead of doing it, and you guys make more money. I get that, but try to find a different way to incentivize. That's just bullcrap. By my opinion, it's just frustrating, and in the long run, it's gonna suck. So I'm making this in hopes that if someone from 343 were to see this video, it will help to continue to encourage them to change things, and maybe you guys out there can help push for that change in the game, because it needs to happen. Whatever your personal desires are for the game, that is, don't just repeat what I've said. Again, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Oh boy. Shame on you, 343.